Sublime Scandinavian luxury. Welcome to the future of Volvo. EX is an exciting proposition to begin with. Some months back I drove the EX30. Now that is South Africa's best-selling electric vehicle, and there's a very good reason for it. It's built on Volvo's reputation for safety, for quality, for comfort, but it's also blisteringly quick and extremely forward-thinking. Now, if you've watched my channel, you'll know one of the first luxury SUV reviews, which I was really proud of and which I really enjoyed, was my time spent with the XC90. That was almost a decade ago. Move on now to this. Welcome to Volvo's electric running EX90, and like all electric cars, it is sublimely comfortable. With this blonde interior, the Scandinavian styling, it is also gorgeous on the eye and insanely comfortable. These seats feel absolutely stunning. They're heated, of course, as is the steering wheel. And in here, you've got a kind of Swedish minimalism that makes it such a treat to step inside. But it's also when you're driving along. I drove this car first on its SA Media launch, and I spent a very short amount of time behind the wheel. I really didn't experience much, but now having lived with it a bit, it really is a treat. It is such a well-built product in terms of what it offers. Comfort, quality, luxury. But there are a couple of caveats, and we'll talk about those later. For now, let's enjoy a bit of the drive. Now, it's no secret, electric cars have always been extremely quick off the mark. Masses of torque available immediately. This is the twin motor, which means that it's driving both back and front wheels, and naturally it's extremely quick. It's also sublimely soft and quiet. Thanks to running on the SPA02 architecture, one of Volvo's latest, the chassis, the body control is like magic. The advanced suspension system here means it irons out and smooths out every bump, and taking it around a piece of mountain asphalt like this, it grips incredibly well. In fact, it's quite nimble on its toes. But the big one is, of course, also the figures. This car is vast, and when we talk of power figures, we're looking at 380 kilowatts, 910 newton meters of torque. In fact, I'll repeat that, 380, 910. Those are big figures, serious numbers. And what it means is, yes, this weighs close to 3 tons, but if you put your foot down in normal mode, it's pretty quick. It's in fact very quick and very effortless. And if we press the little car button here, you get a quick jump into the likes of mirror adjustments, controls, and a button here known as performance all-wheel drive. Press this, it's absolutely terrifying. This car now launches. It's 3 tons of inertia here at 0 to 100 in under 5 seconds. It is blisteringly fast. What's also extremely impressive is the range they're promising. On the WLTP cycle, this range topping model, we're looking at about 600 or thereabout claimed kilometers. Now, I know real world electric cars, it's cold today, for instance, cold weather affects batteries. There's a numerous amount of factors and indicators out there, and you never really get fuel figures like any manufacturer say in terms of battery or ICE cars. It's always a little bit low, no matter how careful you are. But that is an impressive number, and it means you can drive a car like this comfortably on a long journey and not have to stress. Because even if you get, which is pretty easy, especially when it's such a great commuter car and it's regenning so well, even if you get around 400, 450 odd Ks, very, very easily achievable, that's still a very impressive figure. So this is definitely a very real world, usable electric vehicle for the full luxury family. What you can also find with a car like this is, thanks to using all the latest standards, if you use a DC charger, say a 250 kilowatt, one of the powerful ones, which there are several around, you get it between 10 and 80% of its power being built up in half an hour. So it literally is very, very easy to maintain. Plus, when you buy a car like this, of course you're going to probably have that wall box installed or the right facility, so you charge it like you do every car, like a mobile phone. In fact, it's one of the arguments I have most often with people. They say, we could never live with an electric car because what happens if the power goes out? You know, how are we going to live with it? What happens if we get to town and it dies on us? But it doesn't really, because your phone doesn't. You treat the car the same way. Plus, with a massive battery like this, the EX90 is absolutely sublime. Where things though get very, very sophisticated, in fact more than ever, is in terms of the technological advancements. And for that, I think we better pull over because there is a lot to talk about. What's better than a hot Swedish blonde? This blonde interior cabin space is absolutely beautiful, as is this light wood-style grain trim, and when it goes dark, it underlights. In terms of space, elegance, and simple Swedish minimalism, there's nothing quite like the Scandinavian cutting-edge forward thinking of this Volvo EX90. Now, it is a beautiful place to be seated. These seats are sublimely comfortable. They're ergonomically some of the best I've ever felt. Of course they're heated, so the weather's cool out. What a place to enjoy a full experience. And that gets onto some of the forward-thinking vision, some of the technology. You'll notice with this minimalistic cabin, there's one star at the center. It's a 14.5-inch portrait-style multimedia display. Now this features Volvo's iCup multimedia system. And if you're familiar with it, it's all Android-based and very much mimics that of using a big Android tablet PC. It's incredibly intuitive, massive Google mapping here, of course online, so that means everything Google Maps does, turn-by-turn navigation, call a restaurant, you can do it all, it's connected. You've got, of course, voice assistant, and jumping into the main menu, it's very familiar. What you also notice is there's something here called Bowers & Wilkins. That's these incredible speakers, more than 20 in the cabin. They're in the headrests. They're here. There's the tweeter up front there. There's so much. And not only do they create a quietness, a kind of an ambience when you drive along, it's whisper quiet. If you play the sound settings, this car is unbelievable. This is best of the best in terms of the full sound home cinema experience. It really is a stunning place to enjoy entertainment. But I'll stop this for a second, because what I want to show you as well is if we stop that sound, we can also jump into the YouTube player. And by doing so, you'll notice something very familiar. I can now sit at the side of the road. Subscribe if you haven't already. There's our YouTube channel. We're growing it. We're getting month by month a lot of new subscriptions. And make sure to hit the notification bell. We're dropping new content constantly. But you can search for your favorite bit of content here. And now you can simply sit back and enjoy your favorite TechnoBok review, our review of the Volvo XC90 some decade ago. Makes me a bit nostalgic, this. Thinking back to enjoying a Volvo a long, long time ago, and this one gives me a lot of those good vibes. Be sure to watch that video and all the rest of our videos if you haven't already. But let's quit this for a second. Let's jump out of this and let's see what else we've got here. You've got a smaller digital display in front of you, and here you've got the likes of, for example, you can switch into gear here. You've got your gears displayed, you can have your mapping, or you can display other vehicles and pedestrians and all the other objects being monitored by the LiDAR detection system. You couple this with, of course, a wireless charge pad here, the incredible clever key which I've got in my pocket that is proximity based, slim, it looks almost like a little pack of gum. It's quite cool. It also charges here. You've got a physical button, which I really like for sound and jumping tracks. And you've got a deep pocket here in the center. It really is an exquisite, exquisite place to be seated. But enough about sitting here, enjoying this sort of home cinema experience, and it really is very good. Let's get back onto the road and enjoy some of the driving. The interior space and comfort is certainly very impressive. All 7-seating ability. The luxury, as I said, this blonde interior is gorgeous, heated, of course, everywhere. The Bowers & Wilkins sound beat like nothing else out there. You've got over 20 speakers in here, even in the headrest. It really is absolutely incredible. The massive panoramic roof overhead, everything is vast in here. It lets in light. It's got an elegant simplicity that makes this an absolute treat to drive. But it's also got what some are describing as the London cab feature. In the center of the car, you don't see this on any other car on South African roads. It's got that little hump, and where it looks a bit like a London cab, that is actually an array of cameras and LiDAR detection systems. And I'm not going to film it too closely because I don't really want to fry my camera lens. They are powerful lasers, but what they're doing is reading everything around the vehicle at all times. And I've driven many cars with various semi-autonomous drive modes, but this is by far and away the most advanced one on our roads. You use this with a lot of confidence because it's detecting everything, people running around, buses, bicycles, cross traffic ahead. It is a seriously advanced system and makes this a very relaxing car to drive. So finally, to end things off, the EX90 is hugely impressive. It's very good to look at. I love the new LED lighting all around. I love the way that lights wink at you when you come close to the car, the proximity-based key, and a lot of its interior elements and highlights. On the outside, it certainly grabs a lot of attention, and it should, because it really looks elegant, sophisticated, and very forward-thinking. We're looking at a price here in South Africa of just over 2.6 million rand. It's a lot of money, I know, but you've got to factor what you're getting here. It is actually a very, very impressive car, this. While it may appeal to perhaps a more niche market, it's a glimpse into where Volvo's heading. 2030, perhaps building cars that mitigate all collisions and crashes. They're a brand that are synonymous with safety, as well as advancements, modern thinking and technology. The XC90 that I mentioned earlier did it a decade ago, and it still, to me, remains quite a futuristic and very impressive looking vehicle. Even the way it brought the tablet style display that's only been enhanced here is still something quite forward thinking. As we progress from a vehicle like that, an internal combustion car, into, well, something future thinking, an EV, it is a bit of a learning curve. So as I said, there are a couple of caveats. Yes, the EX90 is an incredible automobile, packed with forward-thinking vision. It really is the Volvo for the future, but being full electric, it is a learning curve for example, car dealers. Should the car develop a fault, changing a tire, simple tasks can become more complicated. So yes, it is a bit of a caveat. May not be a fault with the vehicle itself, but more the system or the learning curve. But let's face it, it really is a glimpse into the future and where Volvo is heading.